Right now, women make up about 10% of the State Patrol's sworn officers in Minnesota. Across the country, women account for 3% of police leadership positions. Today, Minnesota State Patrol Colonel Matt Langer signed a pledge to increase the number of female troopers and support staff to 30% by 2030. Earlier, State Patrol discussed the importance of the pledge and how the agency plans to follow through.
What I'm hopeful today at the end of this event, after I show myself out, is that there's good, honest, open discussion about what we do in the future, things that we can do really easily, like I can sign it on my desk and do it, and we try it, or things that take a lot more energy and are a lot more complicated that might involve people on the Capitol complex or legislators or bigger initiatives and everything in between. But to be quite blunt about it, I have had the opportunity over the course of my career to work with a lot of stellar leaders, and some of the best leaders I've ever worked for are women. And I've been very honest about that throughout my career. We've all had the opportunities to work with different leaders, but I have recognized over the course of my career some of the ones that stick out in my head as the best bosses that were really hard for all the right reasons happen to be women. And today I think that is what I'm excited to sort of bring forward as the Minnesota State Patrol, as who we are and who we've been and who we want to be in the future. So we could go on and on and on, but I think the reason that we're here today, of course, is the 30 by 30 pledge. Today's the beginning of the work. So after today, the work starts. 30 by 30 is an initiative that Lieutenant Colonel Schrofer and I became aware of quite a while ago. Many other agencies have signed on to it, and around the country, people that I've looked up to over the course of my career, like a retired Colonel Deb Campbell from the New York State Police, or current Colonel Melissa Zebley from the Delaware State Police, have signed on and looked at this and vetted it and think it's the right thing to do. And honestly, sometimes I think 30 by 30 is not that lofty of a goal. Like, we're looking for 30% by 2030, and we recognize in Minnesota 50% of the people that live here, give or take, are women. And whether you're in Kitson County or you're in Hennepin County, our opportunity to recruit women into the Minnesota State Patrol is the same. So racial diversity is different all across the state of Minnesota, but gender diversity is across the entire state. So our opportunity is really rich to push down this road as far as we possibly can. And 30 by 30 is really an initiative that is almost like, I view it as an accreditation or a validation process where you look at things within the organization that are just happening by routine, whether it's hiring or physical fitness or promotion or interviews or schedules or academy environments, and you just take an honest, objective look at all of those things within the organization through the lens of, is anything here creating a barrier by accident, or sometimes in the course of any organization that's been around a while, intentionally, that's hindering women from either getting in the profession, getting in the organization, staying in the organization, or advancing within the organization. And so when I look out at the group of people that are here today that represent some of the women in the Minnesota State Patrol, I'm relying on you to help me lead the 30 by 30 initiative. And if I'm really honest about it, it's your project to lead, and I'm here to support it and to be behind it and to give the energy and the tools and the resources to make it go. Because it's not something that I ever intended to lead at headquarters, because my perspective is not one from a female leader. It's from who I am as an individual. So I'm really eager for today to be the formal beginning of a process where we really look at things from top to bottom, from beginning to end, from application to retirement, and figure out where we can improve and what we can do better. So it's a bit ceremonial, but I'm going to cut right to the chase. Because I get to sign a lot of things, but when I sign it, it means we're going to do it. And those of you that know me, I try to have the reputation really hard that if I say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And so I'm really eager to re-sign, resubmit ceremoniously, because we've already done it, but our pledge that as the Minnesota State Patrol, we are engaged with the 30 by 30 initiative, which means that we are going to be more intentional than we ever have been on this particular aspect of recruitment. So,
first thing and foremost, I hope you all recognize how lucky and fortunate we are as women to work for an individual like this who recognizes the importance of having women, gender diversity, racial diversity in the organization. Even though only 10% of our female law enforcement is female at this time, we are actually ahead of the national curve. and that's because of the leadership that we have in our organization and Colonel Langer. So I've appreciated working with him, and I'm impressed that he's out front leading this charge. As you heard the Colonel mention, really what this is about is what can we do moving forward to ensure that we try to increase the ranks of females in our organization. It's an interesting time right now. Matter of fact, some would probably say it's the worst time to be trying to recruit 30% of your organization as female by 2030, right? And I would make the argument that it's probably the most critical, best time to do that. It's tough right now recruiting into our field of work, and now is the time that we really need to press forward with it. You heard the Colonel mention that one of the things about 30 by 30 is looking at a variety of things in your agency, from policies to training to uniforms and equipment that we're providing. We do a lot of those things right now really well. I feel super fortunate to have worked for the State Patrol my whole career in law enforcement, because the State Patrol does things really well. We have female uniforms, right? We have weapons that we've allowed to have different grips, smaller sizes for females. We have pants that are made for females. But there's still improvements that we can make, right? I know a couple of years ago we had some issue come up regarding someone who needed to breast pump, and we didn't have a facility for them in the local office. So there's things that we can improve upon. One of the first steps in this process will be us reviewing all of our policies to look to see, are they gender friendly? Are they friendly for women? I think the answer to that question is that a lot of them are going to be, but I know there's always areas that we can improve upon. And as the Colonel mentioned, that's what we're all here for. This is our initiative, and it's important that each and every one of us in this room, and that each and every one of us who aren't in this room, are pressing forward to ensure that we continue to do what we can do to increase the number of women in our organization.
Keep watching CBS News Minnesota for continuing coverage.